Israelis respond to Pope Francis. This is Skywatch TV News for May 18th of 2015. I'm Derek Gilbert. In the wake of the Vatican's official recognition of a Palestinian state, new calls are coming from Israelis for renewed Zionist efforts to build in the city of Jerusalem. There's frustration on the part of many Israelis at the outside pressure for Israel to accept a two-state solution. One op-ed writer today, in fact, linked Pope Francis' willingness and eagerness to recognize a not yet existent Palestinian state to that of Pope Pius XI to recognize Nazi Germany, and called both recognitions declarations of moral war against the Jews. ISIS loses a man in a raid by U.S. Special Forces. On Friday night, Special Forces soldiers entered Syria and killed Abu Sayyaf, who was described by the Pentagon as a money man for the Islamic State, who raised hard cash for the group by black market sales of oil and natural gas. Sayyaf's wife was captured, and a Yazidi woman they were holding captive as a slave was freed in the raid. Meanwhile, however, ISIS soldiers captured the Iraqi town of Ramadi, located about 70 miles west of Baghdad. The city was overrun Sunday as Iraqi army soldiers fled, leaving behind Humvees, guns, and other gear supplied by the United States military, now in the possession of the Islamic State. Local officials there say ISIS troops carried out mass executions on Sunday. About 500 civilians and security forces who remained behind, dead at the hands of ISIS. In other news, a new attempt to remove "In God We Trust" from U.S. currency is using religious freedom as its main argument. Now, instead of trying to focus on the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, the amendment that says that the Congress shall make no law establishing a religion, atheist activist attorney Michael Newdow is filing a suit and taking a different approach, using the intent of religious freedom laws, such as the one recently passed in Indiana, to make his case. He's arguing that forcing an atheist to use currency imprinted with the term "In God We Trust" is an undue burden on his beliefs. Now, it remains to be seen whether this will actually work, but it's worth remembering, Christians, if we want to use the government to defend our beliefs, it's a sword that can be cut both ways. And as we've seen, can be used and has been used by atheists, pagans, and Satanists to impose their beliefs and bring them into the public square. Now you can be the first on your block to own a pair of photosynthetic underpants. Mushtari, which is the Muslim word for Jupiter, has been introduced at a TED Talk recently. It is the world's first 3D printed microorganism hosting photosynthetic wearable. Mushtari contains hollow internal channels filled with synthetic organisms that fluoresce bright light in darkness and can produce biofuels and sugars when exposed to sunlight. According to the designer, it was inspired by the human gastrointestinal tract. The goal is to transition from designs inspired by nature to designs with nature to ultimately, according to the designer, perhaps designing nature herself. Her word. My opinion of microorganisms in my wearables: bleach. The Church of Scotland has voted in a strange new policy on gay clergy. The General Assembly of the Church of Scotland voted on Friday to allow congregations to ordain ministers who are in same-sex civil partnerships. This vote does not overturn the Church's official teaching that marriage is one man and one woman. The vote just allows churches to opt out of that particular teaching, if they so choose. Now, this is a bizarre decision. It runs counter to about 3,500 years of Judeo-Christian morality as defined by God. Moses and the Israelites were not allowed to opt out of God's declaration that homosexuality is a sin. They were not allowed to opt out of God's prohibition, for example, against participating in the cult prostitution of the Israelites' Canaanite neighbors. Now, there are some well-meaning professing Christians who want to be kind and loving and accepting of everyone, who will argue that Jesus never said anything about homosexuality in the New Testament. So the church should get with the times, lighten up on this particular stance. If somebody says that to you, just ask who it was exactly that gave the law to Moses. If this professing Christian accepts the Trinity as doctrine, the triune Godhead, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, then Jesus was right there when the law was given to Moses. In fact, based on the work of scholars who've devoted lifetimes to studying this particular issue and studying the Scriptures, I can build a pretty good case that the embodied Yahweh, whose finger literally wrote the testimony, the law, on the 2 tablets that Moses carried down from Mount Sinai, that it was, in fact, Jesus, the embodied Yahweh, who wrote the law that Moses delivered. But we Christians can find it very easy to work up a good, self-righteous, fire and brimstone rant on this particular issue because it's a sin in which relatively few of us participate. According to the Centers for Disease Control, their most recent survey on this issue, fewer than 4% of Americans identify as homosexual or bisexual. And it's easy to rant against a sin that holds no appeal to you, one in which you do not participate. We need to remember there is none righteous, no, not one. We've all sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We're no more righteous than anyone else. We are just beggars who know where to find a free meal. And responding in anger can make us a stumbling block to those who don't yet know Jesus Christ. However, being loving does not mean redefining sin. In effect, creating a God in our image. I see this face in the mirror every day, and I'm pretty sure that guy is not omniscient. This is a key front in the enemy's assault on God's creation, trying to convince us humans that God did not, in fact, create them male and female at the beginning, but that we were dropped somewhere along a sexual spectrum, and that we can choose whether we are male or female, or neither, or a combination of all of the above. And watch the transhumanist movement, because for some in that movement, this is a major appeal of being able to redesign what it means to be human. Tomorrow night on the Christian Television Network, we discuss the sevenfold vision of Skywatch TV. Tom Horn joins us in studio, along with my wife, Sharon K. Gilbert, and we discuss what we hope to accomplish with Skywatch TV and some other elements of the ministry that we've not really made public before. You can watch it Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's UTC -5 on Dish Network, Channel 267, DirecTV Channel 376, the Glory Star Satellite Channel 117, or you can watch it on the live web stream from the Christian Television Network at ctnonline.com. Now, if you're not able to watch it live, you can always catch it in the archives, and we have set up a Roku channel. The Skywatch TV Roku channel is available for you to watch on demand, our weekly program and these daily news updates at your convenience. We also have an audio-only option if you have a slow internet connection, something that loads a little more quickly, and instructions on how to add the Skywatch TV channel to your Roku account are available online at skywatchtv.com. And by the way, you can follow us on the web, and we've added a page showing the various places where you can follow Skywatch TV and our news updates and links to stories that we think are important in the news. The various places you can find us online. We've got them archived, or rather collated, at skywatchtv.com/web. And go there. We provide links to all of the various places: Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and, of course, the YouTube channel where all of our videos are archived. We hope you keep watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is Skywatch TV.